and I'm here today to talk about American culture in the arts. I'm using the collective timeline to discuss the history of the United States arts and their culture. The arts and the identification in the British North America colonies. When the United States was formed with the colonies, the 13 colonies, coming from European, they brought with them their culture to the United States. Meaning their building cultures, their lifestyles. Even though they had a difference in opinion about the religion in Europe and want more freedom, they still brought their culture to the United States as far as architecture and their building styles and their way of life. Here we see a building that is more or less of a Roman style building in architecture, which many of our buildings, not only through the 1700s, but all the way to the 50s, most of the buildings in the United States was Roman to European style buildings. The change in the architecture of the buildings would also, this is also showing what you would find in most of Americans' homes in mainstream America. These are classic styles for wealth. And as these types of ornaments and decors in the living rooms and parlors, as you would say, it speaks of the large wealth of a culture. This is furniture style that is also included in many homes. This is what you call a bureau that will set you to a dining room or living room in the parlor as a folly when you come into the door. These are also of European style furniture in the arts. This is seen here as one of a rug, and it's still an artistic form. And if you see in the different details of this art, it is using not only the European art, but also Asia in the coloring. The bright coloring. Asia is good for the bright coloring of their art. In the Asian art, we're also using the birds, feathering. It's also known as Asian art. A European art with the crown, because it's still spelled wealth. Art is about wealth. It says how much a country has. It beautifies itself. And the United States took on the same traits as the European and Asian countries. Here, as we see, this picture was done in the 1800s. By 1890, you see the landscape here where it's changing over a bit to using American landscapes. You see the backdrop with the trees. This is the changing of the culture in America. Here we see here is the coastline, where it's becoming more of a nature type of arts, because of the European arts was basically buildings, statues. Very seldom do you see paintings, old paintings, back in the early 1600s. There were statues that was made of the individuals. But here we see how landscape has start coming on the art scene. Here's a scene that's in Harlem in the late 1800s to 1930. Contemporary art starts coming on board. Here we see different shapes, still in the Roman style or European style, but you also see in other architecture which have buildings, tall buildings. And here is when they start using the creativity in building buildings straight up instead of straight down in a lateral form. And the coloration still coming towards the Asian bright colors.
Here at your flag.
Here is New York Harbor. And again we see in this, in the architecture of the world, because not only art speaks to the creativity, but it also talks about the wealth, as you see in the buildings. The United States wealth in New York City is one of their trademark for trading all over the world. The trade centers, mega for large businesses across the United States and global marketing. Here we see this piece of art here that was done in 1962. Again, we see going towards contemporary art in color. Not just buildings, but here we have dots in different colors and different forms, making a shape. The shape is towards diversity. That when you look at it, it may bring to mind different things to different cultures. But still, with the coloration, as it going towards a more light tone in the contemporary arts. Here I got for the Smithsonian. This is Japan or China. One of the key things when I was talking about Asia. China have beautiful coloration. The Buddha in meditation, which the United States have talked about, is an art that is from China. China religion is basically Buddhism. When you're looking at the Asian countries, their religion are more of the older religions in the world. And here, meditation in the United States is a way to relax yourself. And this was taken from Japan and China's culture. Not only used by Japanese and Chinese. Here is another form of the Asian arts. And as you see the curtains, colors, and everything, all these came to the United States in bright colors. Color tones, the reds, the yellows. Here you see the different greens in the paintings. But you also see the structure of the individuals, the type of clothing that they wear. The United States came out with real bright colors in the 70s. Even the men wore bright colors, which was not commonplace. But now they find a lot of different colors that all cultures they adhere to. No more of the sad looking dark colors that used to be back in the 17th century all the way to the 1900s. Here is Japan with ninja. And most of the kids all love the Ninja Turtles. And that's a form of art, you know. This is, movies came out. Karate. The United States love movies with the karates and the Ninja Turtles. And the kids are fascinated by it. Here is Germany. They say Germany in the era, and I've seen it on one of the presentations, of romance. And here Germany was one of the countries in the world, the most romantic culture. And here is one of the pictures that depicting it. You see the coloring in it with the reds and the greens, the earth tones using the trees, back to nature. And so how she has her hair. All these are the arts of contemporary arts, going towards contemporary arts. This is a drawing that I have done. I have gotten back into my arts, and that was December 2013. This is a landscape that I did. It was a vision of California when I was out in California for 7 days vacation. Here you see the sun and the ocean, and here's a bench overlooking the beach and the sand. And here's the trees, and this is just was an ocean beach in color pencil. Here is an art that I draw. This is a small farmland in North, South Carolina. This is where I was born at. I drew this in 2013, just to see where my arts were, doing a visual. This is my grandparents' property, my father's parents. Oops. This is my grandparents' property. This little house is the house that I was born in. Looking down from the hill. This is a 1964 picture of what the landscape looked like. Looking at now 2014, being exposed to different cultures, different arts. And this is taking me to say that, you know, how we're becoming very a culture mixed with very diversities in different countries in the United States. This is a self-portrait of myself. In 6 months, I am to draw another self-portrait to see where my art is at. I'm going to pass around this flyer. This is the flyer that's coming up in March, which the expedition will go on in April. That I don't feel comfortable in seeing it right now. But on the back of it, it talks about all the arts, covering writing, painting, drawing, fashion, music in the United States. This is going to be held in Wilmington, and it's through our Christiana Culture Art Center, Delaware Contemporary Arts, and Creative Vision Manufacturing. They're sponsoring this. So the arts I'm getting back into that I have not done it in a long time, so I'm feeling really good about this. And so in 6 months, drawing another picture of myself in the mirror, using the mirror to draw myself, a self-portrait. So here is a little bit about the history of arts in America. What I want to do now is thank everyone. Last year, I have never worked with PowerPoint. I want to thank my classmates that have been in class presentation. That it's a joy to see, be able to give you a presentation that, you know, videotaping, to use in the business and marketing. So one of the key things of it is that as we are coming through in America, this is our best art. Our American dollar are known around the world. On the front and back, it has our best artwork.
Is it real? Oh, I can keep it.
And one of the key things of it is that art is money. And as you would see, when you look at the dollar, this is a $100 bill. And the reason why I did $100 bills, but many of us don't take it serious, what art is. We all have talents. And that's part of American art.